Welcome, 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 guys. I'm excited to have you guys here again. So far up into this series, we talked about the day to day and P1 as a P150. We talked about the day to day as a P600. Now let's go ahead and dive into the day to day of a P1000. So, guys, once again, I want to welcome you back. Congratulations for getting to Platinum 1000. As we get ready to now take this to the next level, let's go ahead and get started. So, guys, we want to talk about today, the day to day as a P1000. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Congratulations, guys. So listen, today, the day to day as a P1000, of course, is implementing the same thing at P150, implementing the character and the mindset of how can I serve you at P600. Now at P1000, there's about 5 things that we really want to focus on and hit on that's going to really change the game for you. So let's talk about number one, right? The number one principle is that you're not the king or queen, you are the king and queen maker. Are you guys with me? So what I really mean by that is that now it's time to get up out your seat so that others can sit there. And how we do that is, we got to get other people. You got to get other people on the flyers. You want to help your team really engineer their brand. You want to really work and get people to that next rank. So this is you specifically working with your P600s. This is specifically working with P150s and helping them go through the day-to-day of P150, holding them accountable as a P600, and really just driving the results. See, your goal now is to build a stage for your leaders, right? You want them to have, right, the same influence, the leadership. See, guys, right now, if you stop building a business with your organization continue to grow, right? So you got to make sure at Platinum 1000, it's not all about you. It's about others. It's about you really creating a king or the queens in your organization, right? Really getting behind them and pushing them. So how do we do that? How do we get other people on the flyers? How do we make sure that they're getting results and they're smashing the ranks? Well, we do everything with them and not for them. Are you guys with me? So if I'm working with my P150s or I'm working with soon to be P600s, I'm doing everything with them. What I mean by that, right? I'm going to launch with them. I want them in proximity. See, about P1000, well, P150 guys, you want to make sure you're in proximity. But here, I'm doing everything with them because I'm big on duplication, right? I'm big on duplication. So now I got to focus on doing things with them, not for them, right? Even though we treat every customer as our own, as talked about in the phone work training, but I have to do everything with my team, not for my team. Well, what does that mean? Well, if somebody gets started, I don't want to jump down and just quick start them. What I want to do is quick start them with that enroller. So, for example, if my P150 brings somebody in, or right, my P600 brings somebody in, I want to get on a Zoom call with my P600 and literally do it with them. Run them through the 72-hour quick start. Make sure they get paid so they can see exactly what I do and they can hear the language that I use. So you want to focus on doing everything with them. That includes the launch, right? That includes the quick start, right? That includes the phone work, right? You want to do everything that you possibly can with your organization. Why? Because you got to make sure it duplicates. Remember, what works for you may not duplicate, right? It's not about what works, it's about what duplicates. So we always got to be in phase one. We always got to be the example, right? We don't want to be in management mode where we're telling our leaders to do this. We're telling this person to do this. We're just passing on information. That's what corporate America is. The CEO passes on down to the president, the president passes down to the vice president passes down to the managers pass it down to the supervisors, and the supervisors tell the employees. You don't want that in your organization, right? Where the chairman 100 passes it down to P600, the P600 passes it down to P150, the P150 passes it down to the new customer, and nobody does the work. So we have to focus on doing it with your team. Doing what, T? Launching. Doing with the quick start, with the phone work, every part of this business, the trainings, right? Let's talk about the trainings. You want to do it with your organization, not just for your organization, okay? So that's how you're going to become the king or queen maker, doing it with them. See, understand that in the Bible, the word says Jesus was with Paul. Jesus was with Peter. He was with James, right? He was with the 12 disciples. He was in the boat. So proximity is everything, right? So in order to get your dream team, you got to do it with them, not for them. Okay. Prior to Jesus' disciples becoming leaders and speakers and right, really becoming, blessed in the world, he had to develop them. So they had to be with him. Are you with me? These were fishermen. So because they were with him, they was able to learn, they was able to grow, and then they went out and impacted the masses. Right. So how good of a student can your leaders be around you, and how good of a student can you be to your upline? So number two, you got to do it for them, guys. Number one, you got to get them on flyers, get them the results. And how we get them results, how do we become brand makers, king and queen makers? How do we get them out there? We do everything with them. Okay. The launch process, the quick start, the phone work, and the training. Okay. Now, understand, guys, we always say a chairman is just a P150 that never quit. So it's not hard at every level. We're just adding more and more and more value at each level. Right. So now let's talk about number two. Okay. So now we know how to create, we know the work already, what we got to do at P150, P600. Now we know how to develop by doing everything with our team, making sure they got it and they're really exploding. Now let's talk about number two. Number two, at P1000, you want to really get to learn how to tell your story. See, understand that stories sell and facts tell. So the reason why I want to start telling my story, right, is because at P1000, I'm about to get into really big holding my own events. I want to really get into hosting my own events, and I got to tell my story. See, at P1000, you're in front of the room a lot. You're closing out presentations. You're on the back half talking about the residual part, right? You're having success. P1000 is a esteemed position in this platform. Believe it or not, a lot of people never reach to this pinnacle level of Platinum 1000, right? And guys, guess what? If your goal is to go chairman, you got to know how to go to Platinum 1000, because 7 to 10 Platinum 1000s in your organization promote you to chairman 10. So you want to get to a space where you're completely clear on how to smash Platinum 1000. Okay, guys. So 7 to 10 people in your organization, Platinum 1000s take you to chairman 10. Now, as a P1000 now, you got to learn how to tell your story, right? Not only do you know how to tell your story, because you're going to be doing events, you're going to be standing in front of rooms. So you got to properly articulate yourself. But then as well, you got to get to learning how to sell. You got to know what is Forex, right? You got to have a great explanation of articulating Forex. See, you want to start studying, right? Business. You want to start studying the markets. You want to start studying capitalism. How does the world work, the economy, so that your language can literally be professional. You can articulate Forex at a drop of a dime. Because right now, as we're not educators, but we are translators. See, the Go Live is for education, but we have to translate all of this information and this education to people all over the world who don't have a clue what traditional Forex is, right? They don't know what multiplying money looks like. So you got to be able to have the language at the level of the listener. Guys, I've spoken to people from the hood. I've spoken to people in corporate America. I've spoken to pastors, right? I've spoken to high caliber people in my organization. So you got to make sure that you can articulate yourself, your story, your vision, events, but then you also can articulate what is Forex, right? So you got to be able to talk about what exactly we're doing. Now, outside of that, okay, as a P1000, you want to know how to articulate the products. What do I mean by that? How does the products work? What do they do? How do they specify? How many pips do they help you get? What's the best time to trade? What's the best time to use these products? What's the best time to trade with the educator, right? Who's the educator of the products, right? See, when I'm talking about products, right, I like for people to focus on the educator, right, who has a product. So, for example, right, I'm giving them a product like Cash Trap, but then I'm giving them a model as in Matthew Thayer. Okay. Then you got the simple scalper and Millie Mills, right? You got levels and Orrin Wright. You got colors and Dr. Spiller. So when I'm talking about the products, I'm talking about it at a high level. I'm not just talking about click a button. I'm talking about, well, here's exactly how it works. These are the indicators that it uses. This is the time frame that it works. This is how many trades he put out a day. So I'm really fluent and I'm effective at talking about the products. See, at Platinum 1000, I'm generating an extra $1,000 a month and I'm leading 23 to 30 people in my organization. So I have to be qualified to talk about the products, right? I want to make sure I'm great at talking about the products. Now, the system, right? Now we talked about edifying the system, but I'm also good at putting the system together, right? At P1000, I'm seeing what works. I'm seeing what's duplicating. I'm seeing what results are needed. I'm adding things, I'm removing things. And now I'm really getting great at explaining the system because I have a level of adding to things, putting things together. Now, listen, the system ultimately does not generate your success. It's leadership, but the system plays a major role. So as a Platinum 1000, you're looking at what works in your organization and what doesn't work. Right now, see, even though chairmans put together systems, guys, certain things don't work for certain people. You can always leverage the system, but you can always add to it. You know your people better than the chairmans, right? Not saying you know better results, but you know better people. And what works for one may not work for everybody. So you can always use the system, but always add to it. Don't take away from the system, right? So at Platinum 1000, I'm saying, hey, how effective is the system for my group of people? I might have some summers. They love hanging out. They love being around great environments, right? I may have some springs. They love being around people. They love impact, right? So I got to add some things, right? I might have some falls where it has to be really about details. Have to really be. Maybe I got to put more data into my slides. Maybe I got to talk more numbers in my trainings, right? But then I may have some winners where it's not challenging enough. They're sharks, right? I got to make this more competitive. So you know your system better than anybody. So at Platinum 1000, you got to make sure the system, right, that you can cater, you can put things in, take things out, always add to it, never stay the same. All right, guys. So you always want to think about improving your system. So step number one, let's recap. Number one, you become a king or queen maker. You do everything with your organization, right? How to launch, how to quick start, how to do the phone work, the training with your organization. Number two, you got to get good at telling your story, right? Articulating yourself. You want to practice, and that's going to come from doing presentations over and over and over again. Now, events, right? You're going to start doing events, so your story needs to be told. It's time for you to get on the stage, right? You got to come from the back of the room to the front of the room and getting on stage. So you got to start articulating what exactly is Forex, what's the products, right? Education, the products, example. Cash Trap and Matthew Thayer, Owen Wright and Levels, Dr. Spiller and Colors, and on and so on and so on. Indeed, the system, becoming a great system maker. Now, outside of that, all right, what you want to start doing for your team, number three, is creating a schedule. Creating a schedule for your team. Okay. Now, this is about really duplicating. This is about being effective and not efficient. So when I create a schedule, why am I creating a schedule for my team? Because how we spend our time is more important than how we spend our money. And a highly trained team is a highly paid team. So here's the thing, right? I want to be effective. So I want to schedule team calls, right? When is my team calls? What does team calls do? Right? They lead to results, right? So throughout the day, do I have a training call? Do I have a mindset call? Right? What type of calls am I for the team? What am I putting together? Right? Do I have accountability call? Like what's some things that we're doing every single day as far as calls? Now, I want to out zoom you to death. I don't want to have you on a million Zooms a day, but there's necessary for engagement, right? So that you can stay connected with your team can stay at the campfire. Maybe you have an organization all over the United States. Maybe they don't live in your market. So you can't just pull up and touch them. You can't drive to the house. You got to really get on the Zoom and work out the trainings, right? So I'm gonna talk about this in phone work training as well. Make sure you watch the video. So creating a schedule for your team, right? You got to make sure you're on the team calls. You got to make sure you're creating the results, right? You scheduling team calls. You know your team schedules 23 to 30 people. Do the majority of people work 9 to 5? Okay, perfect. Well, outside of the system, I can probably squeeze a team call in, just an update, maybe an announcement, maybe some things that's the situation that just happened, where I can schedule a team call, get that out to my leaders, get that out to my organization, so that we can make adjustments. Now, as far as scheduling as well, right? You can schedule trading calls. You can schedule trading calls. Well, what do we mean by trading calls? Well, right now, what opportunities do I have to get people paid? What opportunity do I have to get people paid? So I want to schedule trading calls. Now, it might be trading calls already in the system, but here's the thing. What if my team can't make the calls? Right. So what I can do is I can specifically work with a group, right? Let's say I'm P1000 and I got a P150 that needs help and more results, but they don't have a schedule to make. Maybe in school, maybe they work all day, maybe they're single moms. They don't have a necessary time to get on the system calls, right? So what I can do is plan a special call, right, for them, right, cater to them where I can get them paid and get them results. So I got to schedule trading calls, right? As a leader, I want to make sure everybody's getting paid. I'm constantly looking through my organization, seeing what help do people need and how am I doing this? I'm doing this through the phone work, right? So that's going to help you really schedule team calls. Got to get people paid. Now, I'm also help setting up leadership calls. Now, see, these calls are not the same as organization calls. These are for my leaders. You might have a Platinum 1000 and say, hey, listen, I want to have a team call with all my P150s and above. Or you a Platinum 1000, now you want to say, hey, I want to have a team call. Maybe you have 3 P600s or 2 P600s, and you said, hey, I want to have a P600 and above call because I want you guys to take this information and flow it down, right? So now it is about tap rooting, but you got to make sure at every level, there's a level of understanding so it can duplicate inside the organization. So right now, when are your leadership calls? With your core group of hitters that's having success, they're running with you, right? They're changing the game. When are your leadership calls? Okay. So at Platinum 1000, you got to make sure, as a recap, you becoming a king and queen maker. Number 2, you're telling your story, right? Number 3, you're creating a schedule for your team. Okay. And then now what I want to focus on is who you got to become. At Platinum 1000, who do I have to become? Okay. Who do I have to become? Because chairman is not a rank, it's a mentality. Who do I have to become? See, a lot of times people, right, they want to rank up, but they don't want to grow up. Are you with me? They don't want to take none of the responsibility. So guys, don't run from the pain. You got to run towards it. See, what I realized is that people want to become a faster caterpillar rather than becoming a butterfly. Why? Because change hurts. Transformation hurts, but it also heals and also gives you a new life. So who do I got to become as this type of leader? Now, here's the thing. Let's talk about number 1. We talked about this as a P6. You got to make sure your character is in order. Okay. Are you the person that people want to follow? Are you effectively building relationships? Are you effectively getting people results? Right? What type of leader are you? And it's all about your character. Are you the type of person where people naturally want to follow? Or are you a position leader where only why people listen to you is because of your title? So what character do you have, right? You got to make sure that you genuinely love people, because you can't lead people unless you love people, right? And what tends to happen is if you don't have the right character, you lead people for a check. So everything is going to be about the money. Everything is going to be about why your education is not on. The only time you talk to your people is when their education is off. So you got to make sure that it's all about character, okay? Now, number 2, you got to make sure you have clarity, right? You got to make sure you have clarity, that you're clear on what exactly everybody needs to do. See, a lack of clarity means you don't understand something. Why? Because confused people don't do nothing. And you cannot run unless you're clear. Are you with me? So clarity is the byproduct of acceleration. When I get clear on what I want, right, I'm going to go get what I want. And people love to follow people who's confident. People love to follow people who knows exactly what they're doing, exactly where they're going, right? And people, because you're clear, you're confident. And if you're not confident, I can't trust you, right? Because I need you to help me do 2 things. I need you to help me build my belief, and I need you to help develop me as a leader. So you have to have a level of clarity. How can somebody buy into you and you don't even know what to buy? You haven't sold out on the vision. That goes to my next point, number 3. What exactly is your vision? What's your vision statement for your life? What's your mission statement for your life? Right? Where's your organization going? What's the goal? How many people you want to impact? Okay. What are you driving towards? What are you shifting towards? So you got to be clear that you got to set a vision, right? You got to constantly keep casting the vision, casting the vision. See, understand people just not going to buy into your vision. They got to catch the vision. It got to be so good that they catch it, like they receive it in their heart and they see themselves being a part of the vision. Are you with me? That's why I love, like, our people perish for lack of vision, right? Lack of knowledge, guys, lack of information, of clarity, lack of clarity, guys. So you got to understand that what's your vision, right? The Bible says, write the vision and make it clear. Write the vision and make it clear. So as a P1000, am I clear on my vision? Is my organization clear on my vision? Right. So the fourth thing we want to talk about is we got to care, right? We have to create authentic relationships, authentic relationships and experiences. Okay. We have to create authentic relationships and experiences, guys. Okay. So here's what I mean. Here's what I mean. We got to show people we care. How often do you get with your team? How often do you talk about your team outside of the business? Guys, everything can't be about the business. How are they family? What's going on with their life? What's going on with their kids? What are they doing on the weekends? Maybe you guys can go get a bite to eat. Talk about relationships. Talk about life. Talk about future, right? Talk about growth. That everything has to be about the business. Celebrate birthdays. Celebrate weddings. Birth to children. Like these people are your family. Okay, what normally started off as strangers in cold market, now they become family. And remember, family, guys, listen, I love this. I love this acronym. Family stands for forget about money. I love you. Okay, forget about money. I love you. So you got to show that you care. You got to do things out of your heart. And you got to understand that leaders eat last. Leaders eat last, guys. Every time, all the time. So you got to make sure that you're showing your team that you care. You're creating experiences, right? That may be a lock-in, right? You may get an Airbnb and say, hey guys, meet me this weekend here. We're gonna get together, have some food, trade together, launch the business together. That's an experience. Hey guys, let's meet out for lunch Friday. Meet me here. We're gonna launch. We're gonna have a good time, right? So you got to understand that that's how you create authentic experiences. Okay. Now the last one I want to talk about is coaching. See, we understand that mentorship is putting something in them, but coaching is bringing something out of them. Guys, listen, here at P1000, you can't be afraid to have the uncomfortable conversations. That means you got to be able to be okay with getting in people's butt. You know their goals. You know what they're striving for. Now, as a Platinum 1000, you've been spending time with them. You talk to them every day through the phone work, right? You know their friends. You know their family. You know what's going on with them, their background. And guys, guess what? You know their potential. So whenever you not see them not living in their potential, it's your job to chew them out. In a great way, of course. Positive criticism. But no, guys, literally, you got to be able to influence them to keep going, keep their goals in front of them, right? Get them to push, right? We know a lot of coaches that was hard on people, right? So, for example, this might not be the best example, but Michael Jackson's dad, Joe Jackson, he was hard on his Jackson 5, but boy, did it pay off, right? Did it ever pay off? Now, some things can be extreme, but we always want to make sure we respect our team. We always want to make sure we respect them with our language. We got to treat people like we want to be treated. Love people like you want to be loved. And guys, literally, this is what's going to transform your life. Holding them accountable. Remember, I always say, right, it's about coaching is about accountability. Okay. Now listen, you can only really mentor 2 to 3 people at a time, but you can coach thousands of people. See, a mentorship, like when I say I have a mentee, I'm not working with everybody. I'm working with a slight 2 to 3 max. I'm mentoring. All right. I don't have the capacity to mentor thousands of people and spend that intimate time, but I can coach people. Are you with me? That's me doing the YouTubes. That's you watching this video. That's you getting on Zoom calls, doing the trainings, and that's you bringing the best out of your organization. So let's talk about it, right? Day to day as a Platinum 1000, you're now hit the esteem level. Guys, you help 7 to 10 people get here. You are literally a chairman 10. So number one, just a recap, you're not a king or queen. You are the king and queen maker. Get people on flights. Get those success stories out there. Help people, right, with duplication. How? We do it with them. We launch with them. We quick start. We do the phone work. We train. We trade. Everything is with them. Number two, tell your story. It's time for you to put on events. It's time for you to really talk about what exactly Forex is. It's time for you to really get deep in depth with the products and get surgical with them. Number D, talk about the system. Keep adding to it, but never taking away from it. Adding to it, but never taking away from it. Number three, creating a schedule for your team. Team calls, trading calls, leadership calls, calls that's going to be effective, not efficient. And that's in a phone work training as well. Who do I have to become? Very critical. Number four, I got to get my character right. I got to be the person that people want to follow. Number two, my clarity. I got to make sure I'm clear, right? And the root word of clear is ear. So I got to be hearing the vision. I got to be speaking the vision, which is number three. I got to have a level of clarity where I can see the vision, hear the vision, and my team can run, right? Number four, I got to show that I care. I'm just creating authentic relationships and experiences. You can never have something that you never experienced. So I got to get my team to believe bigger while I'm developing them as leaders. Okay. Leaders eat last, guys. Understand. So when I'm showing people I care, I'm showing people, hey, let's get an Airbnb. I'm showing people that, hey, I got your food. Hey, I got your back. Hey, I'm willing to take this road trip with you. I'm ready to get in the car and drive with you. I'm showing you that I care about your success and the growth, right, of a nation, guys. So listen, I don't want to be long today. I want to be strong. That is the key things you want to focus on at Platinum 1000. Guys, once again, thank you for hopping on, and we'll see you guys at the top. Love you guys.